And Hiram came out from Tyre to see the cities which Solomon had given him, and they pleased him not. He wasn't happy with them. He had done all this work. He had done it all on consignment. Solomon hasn't paid for anything except for the food that the workers will need to do the work. But all the real expensive stuff, Hiram has provided and furnished to King Solomon. And it's not even on a contingency. He doesn't give it to Solomon and say, okay, you're going to owe me. I'm going to expect this back. You don't see any conversation regarding that in the Bible. Hiram just says, whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it. They have an agreement amongst men. This is an agreement of character. He knows he owes Hiram. But Hiram is not holding it over his head because Hiram is blessed. He's extremely blessed and provided for. So it's nothing for him to do this because the greater goal is the building of God's stuff. If you want to lean more in on that, I did a podcast episode on it titled that. You can find it in my library of content. But with this conversation, Hiram is now finishing up certain legs of the construction of the vastness of his constructions that he's offering King Solomon. And King Solomon is saying, okay, I'm going to start repaying you now. And he says, I got a gift for you. And Hiram comes up all the way from the coast, all the way to where Solomon is. And he sees this gift, this thing that King Solomon is giving him. 20 cities. Anybody else would have been happy. 20 cities. A kingdom. A cluster. A place that you can make into a literal kingdom. And it says that it pleased him not. He was not happy with it. And he said, what cities are these which thou hast given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul unto this day. Kabul meaning displeasing or dirty. I'm telling you, this is what Nazareth, Galilee, Jesus made Galilee great. I'm telling you, all of these places you didn't want to go to. Hiram has been gifted these places. 20 cities in the land of Galilee. And he does not want them. He says that they are dirty and displeasing to him. They're less than what he expected. They are less than what he feels he deserves. Yet the Messiah, the activated Son of God, is birthed in them. Jesus will come forth and put these places on the map. It would not be that these people in these places would coagulate together and support Jesus. When we see in scripture, Jesus speaking to all of the people that he grew up with not being supportive of him. He couldn't do anything amongst those that knew him. They couldn't see the bigger picture. They couldn't see him evolving from little baby Jesus or little youngster Jesus into big grown man, enlightened Son of God walking the earth Jesus. He had to leave them. He couldn't take them with him. Yet he puts them on the map. He represents for Nazareth like nobody's business. Nobody represented for Nazareth like Jesus. Jesus of Nazareth goes back to the Essenes. He's connecting to a higher spiritual center. The original Christian house, the original house that all of these things sprang from. The Essenes. The Gnostics. All of this that we look at this phenomena, this way of being, was birthed from a greater thing. Christianity is not the original way of the Hebraic house. It's the last portion of it that came into creation because of Jesus. Before Christianity, there was Judaism. They don't align to Christianity. They're of the same house. They honor the same God. They abide by the same laws. In fact, their laws are stricter than the Christian laws. The Christian laws are not anywhere as near as the Judaic laws. The Judaic law is the Old Testament. Real cut and dry. I like the Old Testament. I don't mind the Old Testament. If I know the truth, if I know the law, I can formulate within myself how to maneuver within it. I'm more of an Old Testament girl. It's real black and white in the Old Testament. And there's nothing against the New Testament. I think the New Testament is just as good. But if you were to ask me, I would align wholeheartedly to the Old Testament before the New. Just to make sure I'm on the right path. Some wiggle room in the New Testament. A lot of wiggle room. With the Old Testament, it's not as much. But you know you're trending well because you don't have as much wiggle room. The road isn't as broad. But I brought this conversation up to you today because I wanted to remind you that everything is not, there are diamonds in the rough all around you. Literal diamonds in the rough.